All right, you guys want to get started? Yeah? Cool. So what's going on, everybody? I am Sasan Jamshidi. I'm with ServiceNow, and I'm a part of our Strategic Technology Alliances team. So what we've come here to do is we've come here to talk about all of the things that ServiceNow is doing with Microsoft. And in particular, today, I'm here to talk about what is happening with ServiceNow and Azure. You know, well, a lot of my influence and a lot of my work has been with our R365 team, but Azure as well has been a major focus of ours over the last few months and really years, but don't tell anybody I said that. So what exactly are we going to talk about today? And the most important part I wanted to tell you is that I unfortunately don't have a demo. They only gave me 20 minutes, but we do have a booth, so if you wanted to see any of this stuff, come and talk to us at booth 1931. I think I have that right. The folks in the gray shirts will correct me. I'm getting nods. Everything's cool. Awesome. So what are we going to do today? The first thing is we wanted to share with you that we don't just work on these things in a vacuum. We wanted to share with you that we listen to your feedback, not only with what we're doing with Azure, but what we're doing with all of Microsoft solutions. This one is particularly around sort of the feedback you gave us and the problems that you were having in getting to the cloud and how our solutions can actually address and help that. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the integration sort of piecemeal that we currently have available. There were new ones for my presentation coming up here before we were able to come live, so there's even more than that. And so I really urge you guys to come and chat with us over at our booth to learn even more about what we've been doing recently with Microsoft technologies. And finally, okay, what do these things actually look like? What sort of use cases can you utilize our combined technologies for? All right, so who wants an extra raffle ticket? So this is the part, okay, we have the, all right, so I have to ask you a question first. Name one other technology or process that ServiceNow offers. So not ITSM. Everybody knows ITSM. Everybody thinks of us as a ticketing tool. So you have to name a different one. So raise your hand, and we're going to go right here, sir, in the blue. So I heard asset management. Correct. One more raffle ticket for this gentleman over here, please. Good. We have a lot of these to give out, so I'm going to do, let's see, 2 more, 3 more maybe, if I'm feeling good. So, okay, raise your hand if somebody has something different than asset and ITSM. Okay. You know what? You're front row. I have to give you a chance. You're also recording me, so I feel even more verklempt. So what is your... See, I feel like you're cheating with that one. So he said configuration management. I feel like you're cheating because you have to have that for ITSM. So I'll give you one more chance. Something different. No, nothing else? Okay, all right. So I'm sorry, but gotta get another person over here. Threat and vulnerability, awesome. Another one over here, fantastic. You guys are awesome because no one here is saying, wait, you guys just do tickets, right? That's fantastic. I'm very, very happy. All right, last one, something other than what's been mentioned so far. A lot of hands are being raised. A lot of people just Googled it. Okay, why don't we do, way in the back there, in the black. Okay, I heard HR, and you're absolutely right. So we do a lot of stuff. And I think the reason I wanted to bring this up is that most of the time, in fact, most of the folks that we spoke to here at this conference really only knew us from this kind of, what made us really, really popular, which was that IT-centric ticketing focus. And ServiceNow has really expanded beyond that quite a bit. In fact, we really make it a priority to put our all into every single one of these verticals and these processes that we want to improve with our technology and with our partners. So that aside, anybody have any questions about what ServiceNow is before I move on? No, I feel like this covers it fairly well. I don't see any hands raised. No? Okay, cool. So what did we hear from you guys? There were 4 main concepts that we heard when we were interviewing folks about what sort of problems you had with getting to the cloud a little bit faster. And the first one is you had a little bit of a limited visibility, not just into what your environment and inventory was, but how much you were spending on each of those things, how much you were spending on the provisioned resources, on the different VMs that you've spun up, how much that was actually costing you. And then, of course, okay, we've spent all of this time and energy into building these applications, but what about access to them? What about access to provisioning them? There needs to be some guardrail. Not guardrail, excuse me, that's the next one. There needs to be some sort of governance. There needs some sort of control over who can do these things. And of course, these guardrails that I just hinted at earlier, we heard probably most paramount is that your developers and the folks in your organization who really wanted to utilize these to spin up environments had to go through tons and tons of bureaucracy, sometimes weeks long, just to get something approved or passing through budget. And finally, this economy of scale. So we're talking about so many different devices, which t-shirt sizes are being used, how much are they costing, all of that. That far end there, that economy of scale is another issue that we heard from you guys. So because I have the right people right here with me, did anybody have any other sort of struggles that they ran into as they were trying to get to the cloud utilizing any technology, just Azure, otherwise? Anybody, any other comments about that? Yeah. So I heard overall cost management was another problem. So that's kind of trickled into each of these, but I think that is a pillar that makes a lot of sense. Any other issues that folks had? Does this, oh, I heard a shout. Over here, project management. So being able to, I guess if I can exemplify this for you, being able to manage the entire shift of an application out to the cloud, right? Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll say is that I think hints of that, and definitely of the costing part, are in what we've been putting together over time. But who did we hear this from? I wonder if you guys are some of these personas that we've got up here. Probably the someone in SecOps or IT operations. I think maybe IT operations over here with moving your applications to the cloud. To be really specific, there was a large healthcare company that we worked with that was doing manual audit logs to understand exactly what was going on in their security environment. Well, why are you doing all of that manually? Don't get me wrong, it's done in Excel, and Excel is a fine solution. But it's probably not very good for this specific purpose, right? It's not what we want to be using for the kind of scale that we've been running with. In addition to that, we talked to a CFO of another mutual customer of ours who was just trying to ask very, very simple questions of how much are they spending in Asia, how much are they spending in different logical data centers, like where is this money going? And complicated SQL queries had to be run just to get a simple answer to questions like that. And this is something we want to rectify. And of course, the most common, at least the one that I heard the most, is this weeks-long bureaucracy where IT architects are blocking and getting in the way of our DevOps friends who are just trying to get their new applications out to the cloud. They're just trying to scale. They're just trying to utilize these resources, and they're getting blocked every step of the way just because it's a new paradigm. It's a new world that we're trying to move into. So with these things in mind and these conversations we've been having, we wanted to dive a little bit deeper and get into an inventory of integrations and applications that we integrate with ServiceNow. So to start off with, there's the very, very sort of table stakes one. We're talking about getting data out to Power BI from incident management. We're talking about getting events from SCOM and OMS into ServiceNow Event Management in order to populate with discovery into the ServiceNow service map. Getting this information into ServiceNow allows you to correlate and collate all of it together. However, each of these is sort of piecemeal. We could talk at length about every single one of them, but what starts becoming really valuable is, hey, how do we combine these? How do we put these together into something that solves one of those struggles and one of those issues that we talked about earlier from the feedback that we got from that healthcare company, from that software developer? Well, here are some examples of that. And again, there's more combinations than, did everybody get their pictures? I don't know, maybe. There's more combinations than what I can list up here on this screen, but I wanted to call out a couple of them before we dive into a little bit more detail. Advanced analytics, we have multiple engines to support this, and for example, I get a lot of questions like, well, what about Power BI versus performance analytics? Why one versus the other? Well, when you're talking about process improvements and the timings of the like ticket tossing or lag time between, you want performance analytics to solve that problem. And when it comes to Power BI, you want the deep, down and dirty level information to solve exactly or get to the root cause of what these people are doing on a day-to-day basis. But when you're talking process level, advanced analytics, you want to help it change that business level decision making. When it comes to collaboration, we're talking about getting people connected in a bi-directional integration with teams. So sending messages out to teams, receiving it from them, getting approvals done directly where you're working every single day. And of course, getting those changes so that you can have the governance and control and visibility into modifications to your environment. So these are some example ways, but really this next one is tip top. We get asked for this all the time. It is the most innovative, brand new, awesome, actually it's just an AD integration. But we understand how critical it is, right? We understand that this is an absolutely necessary first step for everybody to get not only utilizing both technologies, but to actually get onto the cloud and move a little bit faster. So it doesn't stop there though, because we wanted to make sure that our APIs, our access to our environments was made available not only within ServiceNow, but in Microsoft Flow. So this is where you can start building simple connections, getting yourself used to using Microsoft technologies and ServiceNow. And of course, our native Power BI connector to allow you to get information from the incident table and really any table in ServiceNow up into Power BI to build applications there as well. So Azure, getting to the cloud. You're logged on. What do you do next? Well, you need to discover what you've got already. You've got to map it. You've got to make sure it's kept up to date. And you've got to make sure that you can maintain it. So if you recall, this connection, if you recall this, the healthcare provider that I mentioned earlier, they were running into issues like poring over these data logs, these raw audit logs. Well, if you're able to put that all together inside of a business service map using the Azure Monitor and the Azure Activity Service and bringing that information into a live map to see spun up, spun down virtual machines and environments live, now you know exactly what's happening. You do not need to be parsing through all these Excel files. Don't get me wrong, Excel is great, again, but hey, getting it into a live map with business impact and business relevancy, this is what we've been trying to do for so long. We made sure to solve that issue specifically with that. But I think probably what most of you guys are interested in is this ability to provision directly from ServiceNow's service catalog. So any of you who have mentioned ServiceNow or have heard of it before are probably using it not only for incident, but for service request. And being able to create new ARM templates directly from a ServiceNow catalog item, this is a really powerful first step, not only for adding in the level of control and governance that you would expect from ServiceNow, but to be able to put that into the hands of everybody that we actually want to empower with this capability. And of course, those simple questions that you need answered, that CFO that I talked about earlier, we solve that problem because we have ad hoc reporting directly inside of the platform. So you don't have to worry about going off to another solution just to answer a simple, how much did it cost last week or last year or in this department? These are simple questions with simple answers, and we should be able to empower those folks to get those answers quickly. So with each of these improvements, we're now able to see our developers working arm in arm. Haha, get it? No? Has anyone ever made that joke? I feel like everybody's made that joke before. Working arm in arm with our IT architects to actually empower everybody to utilize these brand new technologies, these brand new capabilities that we're putting together and building it in such a way that you're able to not only optimize how you spend, where you spend, put the governance and controls and protections in place to make sure that the right people are doing it, and putting it all inside of a simplified, controlled, centralized user experience. And that's within ServiceNow. So we're going to do the giveaway and then talk about feedback, because I feel like I kind of want you guys a little bit more excited about the giveaway first. So with all the hype, remember to give some feedback, but we're going to do a drawing here. We're going to combine these things. Okay. Do you want me to do it? I'm excited. You guys excited? Who wants to win one of this thing? Yeah? Yes. Okay. Oh, get everybody in there. Oh. Hey, he's trying to cheat. All right. You missed the questions from earlier. Okay, can I get like stamping drum roll or anybody with a table to give me a drum roll? Yeah, there you go. Okay, and this number here, yeah. Yeah. Okay. 7, 9, 5, 0, 7. I can't quite read that. What does that say? What does it say?
4.
4. Who's got it? Right up front. Oh my God, fantastic. I swear to you that is not planned, but that is amazing. Thank you so much for attending. And hey, this is what happens when you come to the first row. Thank you everybody for joining us. I hope you learned something. Please check us out at booth 1931 for not only a live demo, but a lot more detail than I'm able to provide in 20 minutes. So thank you so much everybody, and congratulations.